All right, everybody. It's been a minute. It's been a minute, like, right? Welcome to the Double K Exchange. Welcome, y'all. We have a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about. You know, the rest in peace, Jesse Jackson. He passed away. The dude from Dawson Creek, he passed away. Our government, it has passed away. I mean, it's not even by a thin thread. It has not. It's not even by a thin thread. It has so passed away. You know what I'm saying? So
That's DNR.
yeah, DNR. We need do not resuscitate. It gave us our papers and just said do not resuscitate. You know. So, but what I would like to get into is, because we're on this lovely app and I'm really wanting to not go too deep into it, but I had a couple of videos that I had sent to myself, but I don't have my iPad because that's just how it goes. But with all of the knowledge that I have researched on YouTube, I've had several people on AP, Politico, TED Talks that are reputable sources, NPR, continuously talking about the lovely conversation. Do you believe that racism is taught, or do you believe that you're born a racist?
I believe it can be both.
Mm.
I believe both can be true.
Mhm.
And the reason being, as far as why I believe you can be born racist, is because DNA remembers.
Mm. Yeah.
And it's just a matter of you being placed in an environment that wakes up that remembrance.
Mm.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, of course, it can be taught by example, just by what you see, just that I believe
Learned behavior.
Learned behavior, yes.
A product of your environment. My sociology class had me thinking about that because we were talking about how you nature and you nurture. One being your surroundings and your community and how that affects you. In my paper, I was talking about how, because everybody was going on to the theory of the twin theory. And I was like, look, I don't want to sound like a bot trying to give the same kind of education behind the nature and nurture. So I talked about experience, but not giving my experience, if that makes sense. Imagine if you live in a suburban area, whether you're highly melanated or not, just a suburban area. Both parents are equally positive. Yeah, there might be discussions of concern, but nothing to where you need to call CPS because people are people, right? And so within my paper, I said, imagine that these two parents gave the equal, both, there was a boy and a girl, and they give them both the same quality of life. They both can go join chess club, whatever they want. They gave them all the positive reinforcements, right? But then as both of these children grow up, they are now around a different experience because of their environment socially outside of the home. And sometimes I feel as though we're not really in a tribe. We send our kids to a different tribe, which is an institutional for school, but that in itself can hinder how someone is going to reciprocate kindness if their school is hateful. If their school is the one that's being the bully or the obtuse person, right? Mm-hmm. Because then sometimes I feel we look at it as though the parents are always at fault, but sometimes it's like, but what was the kid's environment? We never delve a little deeper with why did that kid grow up the way that they did? And then there's the cutoffs in groups, because you have your jocks, you have your cheerleaders, then you have your nerds. Then the nerds go into different subdivisions within themselves, and therefore and there, and then there's the other kids that are just a mixture and all that stuff. And so I feel that one child could just be like, wow, why is this? And then the other one is claiming and repping colors and all this. And you're like, how is it? And they came up, these two people were churchgoers. We've heard those conversations. These two people were churchgoers and they did this and they were pillars of the community. How is it that this one looks like Lil Wayne and the other one looks like, they're on a Backstreet Boy? How in the world does that happen? Because whatever they were probably exposed to at school is what natured and nurtured them. And sometimes, like you said, sometimes it's the blood has memory. If they're not getting it from home, they're going to find it elsewhere because that's what fuels their purpose.
Yeah. Just like, what's a good example? It's always the typical example that's used when they say you can have two children that grew up in a home where the parent is an alcoholic. You have the one that grows up and decides, I don't want to ever touch an ounce of alcohol in my life because I've seen the way it did it made this person act. And then you have the other that says, well, I'm going to drink because I've seen them do this, and this, and they still got things done. And it's just.
And then it's hard because then there's the third one that they'll drink but they'll only drink at home responsibly or whatever, and then they gotta hide it because they feel so
They feel
freaking
guilty.
like guilty because God forbid that loose lips sink ships. It's like, it's like I don't want to be and stuff. So then you have that because they are so guilty of the hearing what the other parent said about the one that was afflicted with the alcoholism. Now they're like hearing that in their mind, and they're just like they just can't stop it. So sometimes I feel that it's just the way that you even talk around your children and within the womb too, like we learned.
Yeah. And I think just like when you said you gave the example of saying you can grow up in a suburban neighborhood and the whole nine. I think if you don't, as scary as the world is today, and as even more cautious as you have to be with like your children than it was back then, because I was always outside. But
it was always,
I think it's important.
but I think that it was always there, don't you think? I mean, it was always there. It's just in a different way of evil, but it was always there.
Yeah, it was always there, always. That's why I said we got to be a little more
On it.
on it now than we did then, because it just seems like it's just everywhere and it's just so much. But I do think that even if you do have a child that grows up in a suburban home, if they are at school and they are trying to, I think it's very important to let that child go do different things, movies, go out to eat with their friends, just little things, because they have to be able to, you have to put them in those environments and in those situations to see how they even, how do they act responsibly? How
Right.
easily are they able to be swayed to go and do something that they don't have any business doing because just the environment changed? And I think that's important because you do have those shell-shocked individuals who were so sheltered in life that then when they do go out into the real world, that's another reason. That's another, exactly. And then they are being taught, or they can be taught, the wrong things. And in this sense, we were talking about racism and what that looks like and whatnot. So yeah, like I mean, right back to the original, I do believe it could be both. Definitely.
Yeah, it can. I think that it can, and it's like it's very hard to distinct which one begins and which one ends. And you have to think that there are kids that their parents were bigoted, even if they weren't racist, they were prejudiced or whatever. That child then sees that like the alcoholic, right? And they go against it, and they're so kind in the world because they don't see it through that lens. That why are you going to the toga party? Well, I don't want to go to the toga party. I feel that they're human too. Or you have people that were going to the toga parties and their children went to school and they still were bigoted, right? And they stopped. They reformed themselves because they loved their children so much that they saw that it was hurting. And then they said, but if this little person that doesn't look like him is giving my son straight A's and making him like achieve because he's doing the things that he's doing, then that makes it to where it's like, wow, I need to change my way because that person is a little bit kinder to my son. Maybe there is something to that.
And that's proof to say that it can be taught, but it can be just like racism can be. When we hear the statement racist or the question, can racism be taught? You automatically assume, or one would automatically assume in most cases, that the racism is being taught in a negative sense. But in reality, racism can be taught in a positive light to where it does reverse the crap that I forgot what apple was on the crap that they.
No, I get what you're saying.
You get what I mean?
Right, because it's like it's not. We're not saying that we should have people just let it ride and let it rip and be a hateful person. No, what we're saying is that free will is a thing, and you could try to make your child be brain controlled, right, and feel that my way or the highway. But once they leave your house, then they are exposed to a different narrative, and they're like, but my teacher doesn't look like me and she's the one that teaches me. And then they may say some Dr. Seuss stuff about people that look like their teacher, and then they'll be like, but I never seen that, I never smelt that, I never heard that, and then now they're confused. And sometimes just questioning everything is what they want to get rid of. To be honest, it's not really the racism, it's the questioning. It's being complacent. Right. It's just do it because I said so, isms. And I feel that sometimes we outgrow that narrative. And sometimes we take too long to know that there are others that had to deal with the hate that we're telling them to get rid of. And now that they see it like Jiffy Pop, they don't know what to do with themselves because they're like, wait, so maybe hopefully when you're at your family reunion and they're talking about Snicker bars, maybe you'll stop them. Maybe if you're an officer and you hear at your little PBD function when they start saying stuff, maybe you'll say something because it's not right. I don't know. I have no idea. But sometimes people with even.
Yeah, I know when I picked my daughter up from kindergarten yesterday, her teacher told me, she was like, so we're talking about Black history. Her teacher is Hispanic. So we're talking about Black history. And she said, I always do this thing where I tell the kids to get into groups based on their color, based on how they see themselves. She said this is the first time as a teacher, as a kindergarten teacher, that she's seen no one go where they were labeled to go, that they were all just mixed up. And she said it was just such a beautiful thing to see because they didn't see they didn't see the color. They just see, I just need to be over here. I want to be over here, and they automatically.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that these 5, 6 year olds can see things like that or not see them like that, and then you have someone that would come in and try to correct that. That's what would bring the confusion.
Yeah.
And she told me that she had to explain to them that you can't. It's based on pretty much your bloodline, because you can't look at things on the outside and just assume
Right.
what's going on. And
Right.
she had to show them a picture of one of her. She said she has, I believe she said she has 3 or 4 children, but they're all different shades. You know how we do.
Yeah.
All different shades. She said she had to show them that she had one of her daughters is very fair skinned with blonde hair, because she take that to the great grandfather. And my baby came home and she was like, "Mom, did you know that you can have blonde hair and blue eyes and you still be black?" I said, "Yeah, baby." I said, "We come in all shapes, sizes, and colors."
Look at Giselle from Real Housewives of Potomac. She got blue eyes. Well,
you the Real Housewives. You managed to bring up that show every episode.
Telling you, I want Giselle. I want to be in the shade room. Yes, I want to be Simply Shady. Yes. Yes, Giselle. Hello. I want your people to talk to my people.
Call her people. She is serious.
And when I see the blue eye bandits, Robin and Giselle, I'm gonna be like this.
No, but yes, no.
But no, that is beautiful, because, well, I feel that would showcase that the status quo is not the good old boy tropes. And even though that they rile up certain narratives, that's not all of us.
Right.
And sometimes I feel even just detoxing from just regular media, give yourself 7 days, because half the time they're regurgitating the same 2 headlines for like 3 to 4 days anyway, and then they don't cycle out and change until Friday evening. So why are we trying to gobble it all up?
That's how they program it into you. Repetition,
propaganda. And it's not like y'all don't know the rules of how networks work. That's the thing. It's not like I just came up with this dope rope. That's literally what they do. And that brings me into another situation, because that just gets hot and heavy, and we just don't want to talk about Bruno no more. But what I'm going to piggyback onto this is, when we're talking about networks, I'm going to talk about Sherry Shepherd, and this is going to tie into Top Model and the industry, but not the government kind of thing, but how the propaganda and stuff, right? Okay, so the Top Model documentary was birthed because of C19, and during C19 college, a lot of the young heads went and saw some of the 90s archives of stuff of reality TV, because they weren't making anything new, because we were covered up, right? We were in a little pandemic bubble. So a lot of people archive stuff. So one of the ones that everyone started to watch was America's Top Model, because, Drag race is a thing and all this stuff, RuPaul's Drag Race, and everyone loves fashion and the fashion industry, and everyone wants to be a Victoria's Secret model until you watch that documentary.
And let me speak on that, because I actually spoke on that on my page when I watched it. So I wanted to be on America's Next Top Model so bad when I was young. I wanted to be a model. I was a model, but I wanted to be on that show so bad. And I remember watching it religiously. I remember seeing when the auditions was for the different cycles, and they ended up coming to our location. I'm not going to give that location.
No, of course. It was Mars.
They had ended up coming. They ended up coming to our location, and I was like, "Oh yes, like I get to audition." And I remember being turned away because I was too tall. They were doing a cycle for the shorter ones, right? Yes. So I was so disappointed. I was like, I missed my opportunity. I'm not going to be able to be a big top model and a whole 9. Like, I was really discouraged. And when I watched that, I was like, wow, was I protected? Because I just could not imagine, because you would not have known to hear those stories of what they were experiencing, and because I remember a lot of those photo shoots I remember those episodes as they talked about it in the documentary. So to know, I'm like, wait, what? That was going on behind me? Like, what? Are we serious right now? Like, and then the responses. First off, can we just acknowledge the models? Can we acknowledge how they were not protected in any way, shape, or form of the word?
That's why I'm eating pickles, because it was a hot pickle.
Like, what?
And the one that gets me is the roofie situation in the hot tub. And I don't know if Netflix was dirty and made her watch it again. I don't know. I could because I didn't hear, But if they did, god dang, is that like her curse or something? Because
She had to watch it again. Tyra tried to get her. She
no, in the
so
past, Tyra did, yes. But what I'm saying is the Netflix documentary. I wonder, egads, did they make her watch a clip of that? Because you know that they were playing back
I
stuff.
want to say I want to say that they did because or not say that they did. I wouldn't be surprised if they did because there were other individuals that kept saying that they had to express. I will not watch that. I stopped watching. I could not watch anymore because of the clips that they chose to put out there.
Mm.
That whole scenario is
And yet
just.
again, none of them got paid.
But and unfortunately, that's usually how it
I bet you
goes.
Tyra got paid.
Off tops, of course.
And her answers weren't even answers of clarity because I was like, okay, I'm gonna be there for sis. I'm gonna be there for big sis. And then it sounded like she talked to her legal team before she went out.
It gave half-ass accountability. It gave. I'm just gonna say
I'm
just
not trying
enough
to
to
get
probably
sued
make
if I say
it.
anything.
Yeah. And
That's what it was
when she
giving.
called one when she referred to one of the women as boo boo. I'm sorry, boo boo. I said you could not think that was the proper apology. And you just referred to this woman as boo boo.
And then she had to get ahead of the story and her to sell the same type of ice cream the other plus size model in that cycle won. She was selling ice cream, and now Tyra's in Australia selling ice cream.
I remember her making a comment about that.
Like,
It's just
it's
it's
just
to
so
see how
wild.
dark the industry, to see how dark it is, to see how heartless they were.
So heartless.
And then you have to think when it comes to those type of competitions and stuff, they don't have the family support. They don't have the people that they would go to consult with certain decisions and stuff. So you really are at the
win.
hands.
And you literally are
that broke my
praying.
heart.
Remember on one of our episodes, we were talking about the different types of prayer.
Mm-hmm.
These people that were on this show were utilizing the A in prayer and the base of that show. Because I'm not going to make a monolith out of Tyra. She wasn't the only one. There were other people that could have said, no, we're done. So that whole show was the E in prayer because they were preying on their faults. They were preying on their insecurities. What is it? The girl's mom got pew-pewed and was unable to freaking walk. She's in a wheelchair and you have her pose with a pew-pew to the dome. Are you fucking serious? Saying, oh, her face looks so lifeless. I would too. I would have disappeared in that photo shoot too.
Checked out mentally. I'm not here. What are you talking about? You just threw one of my deepest traumas in my face.
And then to be addicts and pose for that, have broken ankles. Like, you're not doing a promo. No, you're not doing like a PSA. It would have made sense if they were doing PSAs.
All of it was heartbreaking, but the one that really, really got me, I can't remember her name. When she said that Tyra came to her and told her, I knew you were basically, I knew you were struggling. I knew you couldn't get nowhere, and I chose to do nothing.
Oh, the one that was in the model house and was blackballed.
Yes.
Yeah.
I knew you were going through. I knew this, and this, and I didn't do anything. How can you? What? First off, how can you tell anybody that?
That just want to bite another bite of my part off.
Like, what are we talking? Like, I felt when she said that, my heart just. Because my heart was hurting for all of them, but it was just like, oh, that's just a different type of pain coming from a sister.
You know what I explained to my friend? I said, in the industry, there's always two different types of PR. There's PR that is public relations, and that's what they do. And they usually have one front runner, and then they have a team of collectives that talk about what this person is going to do or say and blah, 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 and who's going to represent them moving forward in that production company team. But then you have the other one, which Harvey from TMZ has always said is the worst, is getting PR legal. She sounded like she was talking to PR legal and not like a public relations person because her answer, Tyra Banks's answers were so vague and a matter of fact. Very robotic.
Practiced.
The hot tub scene when they asked Tyra Banks about how, the editing and all this, that, and other, she says, oh, I wasn't a part of that. But after that, I made sure that I did my best to edit things and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, really? You're giving me Regina George. You're giving me Regina George that you got the burn book. You're not caring. And then Miss J had a stroke because Miss J knew Tyra Banks since the beginning of beginnings, before TV, the one that taught her how to walk, come to find out. And didn't even give them a phone call or anything.
And they ended up they started a GoFundMe for medical expenses and everything. And she still hasn't donated to their cause.
Nope.
And the other Jay still hasn't gotten a phone call. He said he doesn't expect one. He doesn't want one. And I feel that. I feel that completely. And then it just made just the way she was answering things, just like you only did this just to get paid, not to. You don't have any remorse. You don't have anything. It's just this is just another check for you.
That's what it was giving.
That's what it was giving. While everybody else was reliving trauma, pouring and telling their stories. But I love how they changed it at the end. I love how they told each individual story and how they're succeeding and their successes, because to hear all of that dark, heavy shit, it was so good to see that they still came out on top in their own different ways.
But it sucks that they had to go through that and be blackballed.
Yeah, it just sucks that they had to go through it. And I'm just so glad that they didn't leave the documentary on that.
Oh, that's not the only one. That's not the only one. They're picking another one up, a full totality of things on E.
Oh, wow. And then it just makes you wonder, because we know about the American Girls, but then the show encouraged other countries to do it. So what did those?
They're going to talk about all of them.
All of that. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. That's gonna be interesting.
So the soft one was the 3-part. And then that brings
me about the soft one.
Okay. So yeah, so that's what I mean by the soft one. So they did a 3-part series on Netflix, and then another one is going to hit E from my sources. That's what they say. Mm-hmm. And you know, there's another one that I want to get into before we get into Sherry Shepherd, because I mentioned her and then how it all ties to the industry. Yeah. She literally had them swapping nationalities. Not once, friend. Not once.
More than once. Twice. Yes. Yes.
The answer that she gave, you might as well have said she was an Anunnaki or a Septarian, because there ain't no way that you are African American descent, black, whatever you want to call you, are a person of color, you are melanated. Just because you are a green-eyed bandit, you still are melanated. I know you know about the Chitlin circuit. I know you know about all of the things because you experienced them, being called the first of many things to be black. You know, I know you know about blackface.
You know what I feel like? She, just from looking at how she was and then seeing those clips and hearing the real true narrative, the only time she seems to use her black card is when she's trying to justify her bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have anything. I didn't. But then you forgot. You can remember. You can tell me where you came from, but you act like you forgot where you came from.
Well, I mean, not even act like. It looks like it didn't even exist.
It didn't exist, but right. But you want to throw that card out there when it's convenient.
Because yes.
That's what I'm saying.
And that brings us to classism. Because she's not in our class no more. Even if her class was ours, it's not. She's making like so many zeros on it, you know, and it's not in the negative. Like, you literally packed up when they fired you from America's Top Model. You literally moved to Australia because you knew they were coming for that ass. And if you are on these little files, these little Jeff files, like Miss Naomi Campbell, because if you could outwardly have someone be in a hot tub time machine on freaking national TV, and then say that the censorship because of the Janet Jackson situation. Don't bring Janet into your Sugar Honey Iced Tea show.
Just take accountability. It ain't had nothing to do with that.
Just gross. And so now the documentary is ended, and now all 3 of these individuals are Nigel, Miss J, and Jay are on their little Chitlin circuit to tell about this about the Tyra Banks show, and they're undone and stuff. But I feel for Miss J, because Miss J, like I said, knew Tyra longer. So they leave, they say whatever, you go check out. Well, you can't because it's canceled. But this brings me to why she got canceled. I think that it was in the whispers of her getting canceled. But this is the nail that put it in the coffin, is when Sherry Shepherd sat there and cried on national television about things happening to her. Mm-hmm. Next day, she's canceled.
Because they didn't want to take no chances.
No. And then I was telling my source, I said, look, you know what? I said, it's funny because I see it like they don't want to see us with any emotion, first and foremost. We were like the first animatronic robot, if you think about it, because they didn't want us to have no emotion. They didn't want us to have any fear. They didn't want us to have any pain. They didn't want to make
us human, and it's hard for them to see us as humans. So the moment that we express any type of emotion, oh my gosh,
too much.
What is this? It's too much. You should not be
more Lee Simmons with that. It's too much. You know, they didn't even have Blasians back then, and you were a trailblazer. For you to sit here and co-sign with Tyra Banks' blue-eyed bandit butt and sit there and say what you said on that documentary, I just wanted to
the whole thing was real sickening, and
it was not. I was crying.
It was sick. It was. I had to pause for a few times. I had to pause a couple times and really just kind of like, damn. Especially because that was my dream. You get what I mean? So it's like,
But y'all were
Damn.
babies into that because, see,
I
by the
wasn't
time
baby.
you were on this earth,
I
they
wasn't
were already
baby.
on the fourth cycle.
Exactly. Exactly. And I had no,
You know, and we're
like, I'm
thinking that,
watching them
like, you know,
cycles
this is
growing
what we
up.
want to aspire to. And it's like, even if you're not on the files, it's just telling you that this industry is just fucking sadistic. Then you
But you
try
know
to,
what?
it's just gross.
I wouldn't, you can, I would believe a little bit easy. It would be easier for me to believe that that she is on the files just because she's so comfortably disregarded that hot tub scene. She disregarded that other model who expressed that she was uncomfortable and was hearing people moan and caress and grope her without her consent, and they just waved it off and
Girl, they
said,
chose
"You
to
should have
use
said
the
it like this."
picture. They chose to use the picture of
Right.
her being groped.
So, like I said, it does not surprise me if we find out that she's in the file somewhere, because look at what this is. Come on now, and come on now, just come on now.
I know, I know, I know.
And they had kids in the shoot. If we're talking, while we're talking about it, like if we really
Some
want to
of
take
those
it there, we
people
can
that
take it
were
there.
on America's Top Model were just leaving high school. And just because you just leave high school doesn't mean that you're 18.
They were just leaving high school, but I wasn't referencing them. I was referencing them babies that they used in the them young children, them toddlers that they used in
Oh,
the
for the race
yes,
swap. Oh,
for the
yes.
race one. Yes. I'm just saying. I mean, we speaking conspiracies, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, even though it ain't conspiracy because it's 1,000 fucking freaking pages and things, I keep forgetting.
I mean, you know, where
Like,
we live, we were even in the files, you know? B Town was even in the
I
files.
seen that. I seen that. I seen it because of your post, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, my book of faces usually is very dormant. It's like, you know, roaches, the internet roaches be rolling around in circuitries of boll weevils and tumbleweeds because there's just no action. When I saw that sucker got 300 and some shares, I'm like, geez, and crackers. It must have got to somebody because Jasmine, the medical nurse or whatever that runs for Assembly, she done put a bill about safeguards for the files here in Kern. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. But, you know, Sherry Shepherd,
Safeguards.
I don't know. I didn't look into the policy, but I just know that Jasmine, not Crockett, the nurse in our district that's in for state assembly, she put some kind of bill or policy about the files. Yeah, I'll show it. I'll share it to you later. And so then that brings me to all of the stuff about Michael Jackson coming out now. You know, how people said that they were wrong, that he was like he was a few people that would have them go to Neverland to save the children, literally.
Yeah,
That's why he had that.
But they turned the narrative around to
make him the fall guy.
Yeah, which is sad.
Mm.
Which is it's so twisted.
It's just so twisted. So I mentioned before that Jesse Jackson had passed, and that brings me into weaving in the politics and social media and how we see ourselves and stuff, because Jesse Jackson had a campaign and he ran for president and all this, that, and the other. He is also the founder of the lovely term African American instead of just black, right? So he's the one that coined that. The thing that I did not like, or I forgot, and I put it back in my brain after I saw a couple of his clips, is that he was a little obtuse when Obama won. And sorts. He was not happy about that. It wasn't like, you know, yeah, it was outward too. It wasn't like it was hidden. It was like, you know, he said what he said and he stood 10 toes down and stayed with it. So I feel that certain things in society, when you come at a certain point in your career, I think that you shouldn't even be around a hot mic when you say stuff, because that gets into our structure of things, of thinking that when the others see it, and even if you say it, they're going to take it out of context, like Biden and his speech about black people and stuff. But people take those 3 sentences, if you didn't vote for me, you're not black, or something like that. They took it out of context because it was a whole speech of a whole bunch of other words, and that's not at all of what he was talking about. But it's just the fact that Biden did say it, that people run with those 2 sentences instead of the whole thing around it.
But people love drama, and they tend to run with the negative narratives before they decide to embrace the positive narratives.
Yes.
It's so unfortunate because you'll see all of this negative narrative circulating, and then when you finally come to see the truth of where the narratives were coming from, it's like, how did we get there from here when we could have went this way? How did we go this way? And we really could have taken it this way. That's crazy to me. Like,
because we have the news as our public pretender. It's not really our public defender. It used to be Paul Revere, but they want a bottom line and they need to make the next hotline, because if theirs doesn't
own it. On it, it just be coming out just so smooth.
I'm just saying, it's just
that shit be
it's
so
true.
smooth.
It's true though. They are a public defender. They were supposed to be the public defender, and they were supposed to be Paul Revere and say the British is coming and stuff, but they didn't. They need to be in page 6 with JC Penney's. They got to be next to H&M with the hotline and get endorsed and all this stuff. It's like, even though pharmaceutical companies, we give them a bad rap, our news fails us because it does not talk. It's bad. It's just as bad as listening to the radio with the top 80. If you are out there still listening to just the radio, look, there's a thing called, and I'm not getting paid. There's satellite radio. There's different apps, you know. Yeah, there's so many different things, because radio is just as bad as getting your news from like one place.
Yeah.
And you have to go and see how to check those primary sources and stuff. But I think that some people just don't care because you do it as though it's a team.
Sometimes it's just easier for somebody else to do the work.
I mean, it is.
No, I'm saying that's how they look at it. Well, you did the work for me. You told me that this is what I'm supposed to believe. You told me that this is what it is. So since I don't feel like doing my own research, I'm just going to take your word for it. And hey, here we are.
I love listening to independent content creators when it's talking about news and stuff. That's mostly how I get my news, or going into civil discord with individuals here on the Click Clock app when they have political TikToks and stuff. Not the screaming matches and they calling you mama and all this stuff. No, not those ones, but the ones that they literally have their ear to the ground and they're educating you, and they're pretty much like college professors and stuff like that, or people that just love to do research. I feel that we are in this place in life that we should not say we don't have it at our disposal. You can even have the Gemini twin get it for you, Chat GPT, to search up.
It's very much at our disposal, to the point where you can't not see something that you might not want to see, because it's just so
there.
It's there. You can't not. The only reason you can say you did not know something or see it is if you've seen it and chose not to. Never mind. Like, it's just it's there.
I just
let you climb it under a rock.
No, because you get your highlights. You get your highlights on your phone. I have, how many times I have tried to dismantle the freaking news and put snooze on it, and it still pipes up, and I forget, because I'll snooze it and it'll say, oh, how long? And they only give you 30 days, right? And I forget to do it, to reset it before. So here I'm like, oh, why am I getting the news? So anyway, it's like, other than that, but I don't do it because it's AI news. They're doing that now. They're starting to do, instead of regular news, it used to be local. Now they're just giving AI news.
I'm so tired of AI. And I know it's just now getting started. I'm just so freaking tired. In some aspects, it's good. In others, it's like, for real. Really.
The one for me is when you're late at night and I don't got my magic eyes in, and I see someone sitting in a car full with Creations and eating them in the car. And I'm like, wait, am I still on Mary Jane influence right now? Like, what is that?
I've realized I have to really scan the video or the picture to make sure, it's because it's gonna always be something off.
That the sea creatures that are like molly-whopping people on boats, and I'm like,
you don't know what's real and what's fake. Especially now that these files finna come out about extraterrestrial and things. Things we already knew. But
Ryan Cohen, he's an independent on the Red of Tubes. He sat down with President Barack Obama and asked him about that, aliens and stuff, and they just are undone. They're just so undone. Like,
But how many of us already been speaking on aliens and stuff? It's like, you tell
me here.
So, but even with that being said, now that we have AI and we have these things coming out that are already out, they're already here. Now I feel like it's just gonna create the space for those things, those individuals and whatnot to come to really show their true form, because it's so hard to tell what's real and what's fake nowadays. You get what I mean?
Well, I'm like Kendrick, and I just turn the TV off. I really do. I touch grass. Like, I'm out here on my patio doing my live right now. You know what I'm saying? Sitting on the porch and stuff. You heard I was listening to music earlier, just detoxing. I'm not a government. I
was at my girls' practices, and I actually got up and learned the whole line. I felt like I came home. I said, oof. I said, dang, I got to film. I had a whole workout, but I had to ground. I had to let that sun hit my face, get my blood warmed up and pumping. And like you said, touch some grass.
6:30, I got up. 6:30. My son's game was his game didn't start until 8. We got there at like 7:45 this morning.
How'd they do? Did they win?
Well, they made it to the playoffs. They lost by 1 point, but because it was so close, they're gonna let them go into the playoffs. And so I told him, I said, but see, the thing is that I'd rather for you to lose by 1 point than 20. I said, because that means you were battling it out until the last second. You didn't give up. You didn't let up, son. He's like, really? I said, yes.
I was right there.
You was right there. You're like Princess Tiana, almost there. Almost there.
That's a different kind of loss, to get blown out, and then it was just right there by the skin of your goddamn teeth.
Because it makes you get it harder.
Yeah.
But if it's 20 points down and they're winning, or even 10, you feel defeated in a different defeat. But when it's that close, it's like you can still say, yeah, you might have won, but it was just 1 point off. If we had 10 more seconds, we would have creamed you. That's a different conversation. That's a different conversation. Come with it. Come with it. Go be like right on rice.
So is it the same two teams that's going to play again?
I don't know if it's the same two. He didn't tell us. The coach just told us that they were going to go into playoffs, and they're the Cowboys. So I'm just like, oh my goodness, go Cowboys. And then my other daughter, she wants to do ballet. So I'm just like, all right, I'm just saying, girl, you got to practice. I'm not saying that you're going to be going to Juilliard, but I did that 2 years of my life. 2 years of my life. And my mother-in-law was like, oh, her feet. And I said, her feet? She's like, yeah. I said, she's not doing Say the Last Dance.
Okay, she got that image in her head.
Yeah. I was like, she's not doing Say the Last Dance. She's not doing that. And I said, and I said, but when you do ballet, they probably changed the name because it's been about damn near 40 years for me. But when I was going to June Claire, they would call it soft toes. So when you see the ballerinas with the pink shoes, they're the soft toes because the black ones are usually for jazz. Those ones are for jazz, and they have a little bit more harder, but they almost look like ballerina shoes. Because jazz does a little bit of hip hop, it does a little bit of African dance and jazz. Yeah, it's like it's a lot.
Hip hop here and jazz, that jazz, they be like, whoo, whoo.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
So when she starts that and stuff, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my core memory to get it. I used to go on my toes. I used to, but that was so long ago. I think I need to get back to that. Yeah. Because of this lordosis, I really think for my core that I should just do ballet because Pilates and stuff is really good. Actually, have you ever tried pole fitness?
I've done the pole.
Well, I've always wanted to be diamond because of Players Club, but I'm married, so I can't do that. So I had to do pole fitness.
Have you started? I told myself.
Okay, if you go, I'll go. If you go, I'll go because I really want to go. It's in it's in B Town, huh?
Yeah, I know.
It's called the Den Lounge. Den Lounge.
That's one of them. I know a couple. We can talk about it. I know a couple different places that do them.
I'll tell you later. But I want to say that when I lost weight, what helped me to get out of that threshold of my plateau was pole fitness, because I have YouTube videos. I was starting out 240 before surgery, right? And then on my own, I lost like 45 pounds, and then I got to that like plateau to where I just didn't want to like lose anything. So I told my husband, I said, I don't want to go to the gym. I want to do something that's fun. So I'm listening to music, but I'm still getting like a workout. So I started pole fitness, and man, dropped another 50 pounds just like that.
It works out everything. It works out everything.
Girl, does it?
I don't miss the bruises. I don't miss.
Then I had to give the first instructor that I went to. She gave me a contract to give my husband to let him know the bruising areas, because it looks as though someone literally grabbed you and said, "Bye, y'all."
So that's what I said. I don't miss the bruises, but it's definitely a good workout.
I miss it though. I really do. I've
been wanting. My sister told me, she was like, "Sis, you gonna get on it?" And I'm like, I'll get on it.
Well, I would love to have someone come with me. Not that I need that, but it would just be nice to, like, the honor system and stuff. But I saw one, because I'm just like, man, I just love it. And I didn't have lordosis problems when I did it too, because it just helped with the fluidity of my body and stuff. And also shout out to all, yes, because to all you old heads out there, I might look lovely, but I'm going to be 47 this year. If I'm not active, no, menopause.
If you don't use it, you lose it.
You really do. That menopause will mess up your muscles, your structure, offset of osteoporosis or lordosis, any of the osises.
Yeah.
And to combat that, to get that internal circulation, I do acupuncture. And then I, do my Zen Zumba, of course. But then the Zen Zumba is great, but I want to do something for myself. I don't want to just be practicing my Zen Zumba all the time. I really want to get back into that.
Because the Zen Zumba is
really, it's my baby. Yeah, I'm the coach,
Yeah. So and it's like you're going to work in a sense. Right, so it's not you pouring back into yourself because you are trying to pour into somebody. You're trying to pour into your class.
Yeah, I want someone to pour into me. I want someone to instruct me. And then there's this pole that you can get that is it has a stage and it's portable and it's like $1,200. That's like my birthday present. I want to get that for my birthday. Because I want to be in the backyard and just be la 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 la, listening to all my K-pop.
I think that investment will trump how much you will end up spending in the long haul when you go to a class.
Right, because the thing is that I want to utilize the class for technique And then then you lay off and then you go back, because that's what I was hearing a lot of bloggers do. They said that they got a poll that worked for them. Me, I don't want to keep one up 24/7 because it's just my preference. I have a son. It's not that I don't want him to, but remember how we were talking about nature and nurture? I don't want it to be a trigger and then him thinking something or his friends thinking something. I just want to take it.
Yeah, that's the only reason I wouldn't keep one up.
That's why I wanted the portable one for $1,200, because it has its own table.
But then again, that is a very, very good teaching point.
It is. We often
look at the poll and it's automatically equated to.
Yes, that is true. That is true. That is true. That is true.
You know what I mean? I just thought about that in the sense of, why wouldn't I, like, if I was to keep it up, that would be a good teaching point for my babies. Like, hey, no, yes, they do this. There are nighttime ballerinas. Yes, they do this.
I like that. I want to be a nighttime ballerina.
Yeah. Sometimes if you would ask the answer what they'd be like, I'm a nighttime ballerina.
Oh, yes. But yeah, we're going to have to talk about that after we get off of here, because I would love to go back to that. And I felt it just melted off like butter. It was effortless. I feel that if I were to go on the treadmill at the gym, I wouldn't have gotten the same result, because even though that I was doing my cardiovascular, I wasn't really doing that internal muscles, right? Because I should be having the forever buy arm. Like, it really helped me, because losing 100 and something pounds, sometimes people have to get liposuction. I'm so thankful that I listened to the gods and goddesses to say, girl, you better go and do that internal core while you're losing this weight. You don't want to have another surgery.
No, that is true. And I don't think that's talked about when it comes to weight loss. It's just it's not talked about. It's not. And it's like, I feel comfortable. You'll find those that lose the weight, and then they're now trying to tone their body, and they're getting discouraged because it's harder to tone their body when they could have been toning
while they were recovering.
While they were losing. Yeah.
Right. And I didn't wait till after. I literally got a clearance from my doctor, and I waited the 6 weeks. And after my 6 weeks, it was on the 7th week, I went to my pole fitness. Yeah. And they don't talk enough about, like, the surgery itself doesn't hurt. You know what hurts? It's the CO2 that they pump in your stomach. Because when it travels, you either have, like, pain in your shoulder or pain in your neck or pain in your chest. And that stuff is not to play with. And the only way to expel it is what? Movement.
I've heard that.
It hurts so bad. It hurts so bad.
That walking. Gotta get up and walk and move and move.
And I did. I walked. I would walk with my dog, because I wasn't able to like run or anything. I would take Eve with me and put her on the retractable, and so she would be able to scan, like, the area. I didn't do Milk Drop, because Milk Drop, she wants to attack everything. Eve is more of an alert dog. She's more pit. Like, no, you don't come around me. Like, leave me alone and stuff. But yeah, I did. I just walked, and I still have my little watch on. I tried to do, at least on a good day, 10,000 steps. 10,000 steps. Al Roker from the Today Show years ago, when it wasn't a thing, he got gastric bypass and lost a significant amount of weight eons ago.
I remember his transition. I remember watching him transition, and I was like, I'm like, dang, he lost a lot.
But look at how long he has lost the weight, right? Because of what, and he's not probably as the same as it was, but he's nothing to compare to what he was. And he works it to 10,000 steps a day. Even if you're not working out profusely, just as long as you do 10,000 steps a day, you will keep the weight off. Yeah. And it's not hard. Sometimes I'm on the phone.
So it really isn't. You really can't use the excuse of, I can't work out, or working out is too hard, or because all you got to do is just walk.
When I'm on the phone with my girlfriends or someone, or taking care of phone calls and stuff, and I don't have to sit down and jot something down or whatever, I'm pacing my hallway. I'm sipping my coffee and I'm pacing the hallway. If I'm on the phone with someone for a long period of time, other than this podcast, because I don't want to be out of breath, I'm usually like walking.
Yeah. I know. You know what? You say that, and when we do be on the phone,
I'm always walking.
You can hear that you are constantly in motion.
Yeah, I'm constantly in motion, even if it's to pick up a piece of gum wrapper paper or something like that. Just as long as it's moving, just move. You don't have, that there are so many studies now that says that you don't have to go to the gym for 2 hours. First of all, you're putting your body into a perpetual fatigue and harming it, because you're ripping the muscular cells at such a rapid rate without recovery. And then you're trying to figure out, why do I look like Fred Flintstone when I'm at these weights? Well, one, you should be doing resistant training instead of doing weights, because as soon as you put 5 pounds on that weight, your body is going to say, oh, we're lifting weights, especially if you have a muscular structure. I have a very muscular structure because I worked in the healthcare field as a CNA. So anytime my body picks up something, it's muscle memory. It thinks I'm going to lift a patient. So it wants to bulk up like Popeye. I'm like, oh, so that's why I like the pole fitness, because my body wasn't used to that type of workout.
That makes sense.
You see, so my
Yeah.
body, every time I go into that motion, like with my Zen Zumba, I do bicep curls, but we do more of a faster repetition because I want them to move their and get that circulation going. One of the ladies came up to me and she was like, "Do you know?" She's been coming since June. Older lady. She came up to me and gave me my flowers. She says, "Do you know that I wasn't able to cross my legs? And yesterday it about scared me when I crossed my legs and I wasn't
Oh.
at class." Working out in the and then it's like working out in a chair. Working out in a
So
chair.
again, so again,
No
someone really
excuse.
can't give an excuse that.
No. Mm-mm.
So the only reason, well, I'm not gonna say the only reason, but a major reason why one would struggle with losing weight is just because they are choosing.
And I'm gonna say this: I still drink smoothies. I still am on the bariatric plan. I never changed it. I still eat. I
Okay.
had the freaking Portos just now. You
I
saw
think
that,
that's the difference. I think that's the difference too. Some get the surgery, lose the weight, and then start eating as if start eating as if they didn't have a weight loss surgery. And you
right?
can't eat the way you used to eat because that's how you got here to begin with.
Right. I
Yeah.
ate that Portos Danish just now, or what? No, that I'm sorry. That one was a stuffed something like a empanada, but it was a ball. Right. I had that earlier. I had a pastry, but it's not like I'm eating Portos every day. Usually I love my Stanley cups. Like if anyone gives me a Stanley cup or one of those ones that keep stuff cold, you saw my bitch be gone cup.
Yeah.
I love those tumblers. You know why? Because I put my freaking smoothies in there and they don't turn hot. Because that's my life source. Like I'm really anal about that. Like when people give me cups, I mean, it's like, yeah, I love cups because I'm drinking a lot of water, but I like the insulated ones because I'm literally using this for my source of food. My ice in the summertime, if I don't do my smoothies, I have my ISO-pure water that gives 30 milligrams suggested from the doctor. He told me that I had to have at least 30 milligrams per serving when I'm doing that. And then he gave me the list of protein powders that I can drink that are sufficient. Mm-hmm. So it's just, I think, yeah, you have to listen to what the doctor says. But you're right. A lot of people get the revenge body and then they at the hometown buffet.
They forget.
I went to Golden Corral and my husband said that was a waste. I said, I know, right? But I said I enjoy just getting a nibble of this and a nibble of that. It was fun. Because sometimes, yeah, I got out. I didn't get like back and forth. Because sometimes even when we have a gastric bypass, sometimes we do want to experience, the muscle memory of having this and having that. And I did. I had a spoonful of this. I had a spoonful of that. I had a spoonful of this. And it was just on one plate. And I just, okay, I'm done. All right. Waited a little bit, had my dessert, and I was out. Rest of the day, I drank my green tea, my yerba mate, and water, and then protein. When I eat bad, I try to eat bad in the early part of the day. I try not to do that crap at night because you're not going to work off the bad stuff that you ate. But you will have a chance to work that stuff off if you do it early in the day.
Yeah.
By default, because you're moving. And when I go out with my friends, they always laugh because they're like, girl, every time I swear I'm on the Kim K diet because I'm so scared of eating certain things. So I'll usually order a Cobb salad with salmon, or like a Cobb salad or a Caesar salad, something like that. Some kind of salad and soup. That's what I'm gonna get a granny freaking meal and probably take that home and then nibble on it for the rest of the night and feel just ooh.
Mm-hmm. You know it works for you though.
Well, look. When we were doing our class in October, I felt so bad because everybody started ordering a salad because I was ordering a salad. I said, no, y'all order what y'all order. Y'all order what y'all order. You know what I'm saying?
I'm so glad I taught myself because I forgot we were going to be. I'm gonna put that right there because we're gonna be. I forgot. Yeah.
So it's like, when that also is a thing. Like when you're a skinny person, sometimes people have this notion that you're a tootie boot, you're bougie, bad and bougie, or whatever and stuff. And I am the Hannah Montana. I still have my heavy girl pictures up. I think I had posted something in reflection of a remember the heinous thing that happened to the girl in boot camp during COVID, during C-19, when she was deleted from this earth because they raped her in the army and she died in one of the, so we did a visual here, right? And it just had me put into perspective of the grape culture of how people will sit here and give excuse upon excuse upon excuse. Oh, it's locker room talk. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. Even though that the files are something different, the sentiment is still the same, pushing things under the rug and stuff, right? And sometimes I feel,
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, and I was saying sometimes even with the aspect of when you gain or lose weight, some people will look at you and say, this, that, and the other, and the next. And it's like, I'm not coming from a place of thinking that I'm the shit. Because I was skinny in the beginning, had kids, life happened, I got sick, I gained weight, and then I ended up having it again. Now it's up to me with my health. Now it's truly in my path to say, am I going to do the things the doctor tells me, or am I going to just say, you know what, I'm going to take 1,000 milligrams of fucking Tall, I'll just get it again. I don't want to get cut on. The older we get, it's not fun. It's
But I
not.
think it's the same thing though, like just the same way someone that is larger experiences like the judgment and everything else or the expectations, whatever, however we want to frame it. So
Right.
do the smaller. It's the because I get told all the time. I get comments on my body all the time, and it's and I'm always like, I'm trying to gain weight. Like I'm trying
Every
to.
time you say that.
Because I promise you, I like that. I am. People be like,
I'm
you
not
like
laughing that I
you.
don't believe you. It's just I've
No.
never heard someone say that before.
I hear it all the time. As the smaller individuals that I know and that I grew up and that we grew up and we're still small,
Mm-hmm.
I will hear that from them as well. Like that is something that we like the same way someone that's trying to lose weight struggles with that weight loss, we
Right.
struggle so much trying to gain the weight. So that way so we are intentionally trying to gain and do things to build our body and then we get told, oh, you're so this and that. And it hits us the same way that it would someone that's
It does
losing weight.
because I got it both ways. That's what I'm
Both
saying. I got
ways.
it both
Yeah,
freaking ways.
you're
And
able to
even at my
experience both.
heaviest at 240, to me, even though that I was heavy, I was still active. It was just that my body was sick and I wasn't able to lose the weight. That's why my face was so swollen and stuff. I was having something internal happen to me. It wasn't. When I look back on that, I'm like that wasn't. I wasn't like jolly heavy. I looked like I was sick because like you can see it here. This is a telltale when you see it in someone's neck and it's just really protruding and there's something going on that ain't right.
Plans.
Yeah, something is not happening. Something.
Yeah.
So it's just
Even with like, even with pregnancy,
yes.
there is this notion that you just have to just eat and gain
Or
and gain
not
weight.
move at all.
Or not move at all. And my OB, one thing he stressed when I first met him, he said, I hate the narrative that pregnant women feel like they just have to eat and gain a bunch of weight to have a healthy pregnancy. He said, no, he said, I hate that narrative because it's unhealthy. It makes it harder because you trying to do this. And then if you feel like you're not gaining enough weight, you're not having a healthy pregnancy. And
Yes.
I remember being, the most I've gained weight in my pregnancy is I'll be about 140.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that was a lot. But I would still get told, you're not that big. Excuse me?
Yeah.
I am carrying a weight I ain't never carried before. I'm not used to this heavy. I'm out of breath because I'm like, what are you talking about? What is big?
But then the thing is too, let me land my plane in the Hudson, is that no matter what size, they ain't go, it doesn't matter, whatever size, you're either too fat or you're either too skinny. Is that once you try to feed the narrative of the nobodies and try to be a somebody with the nobodies, it's never gonna get you anywhere. Because now it's going to be a different collector of nobodies that are going to say shit. Soon as you get the weight, then they're going to say, girl, you got fat. Girl,
see, you can never win. That's so true.
You got more chance than a
That's so
Chinese phone book,
true.
girl. What the heck
That is so
happened?
true. Because if you see someone that was smaller than that first thing, dang, she got big, or dang, she gained weight, dang, he, or then if it's the other way around, dang, you lost hella weight.
If nobody's trying to be somebody, be you. I'm here to tell you, my mother-in-law love her to pieces. I love my mother-in-law, love her to pieces. But when I first met her, I was smaller and stuff, and then like I said, life happens. And so one day she says, oh my God, me, how you got fat? You're so fat, and blah, 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 and this, that, and other. Like really went in on me. Now, let's fast forward 4 years later. Oh my God, you make me feel bad. I need to lose weight. Not you in the wheelchair worrying about me now. Now that I lose it, now you want to give a tortilla and stuff it down my mouth? Come on, man. And that's when I came to my conclusion of we need to stop the narrative of feeding into the nobodies, because there's always another freaking level up to the nobodies to try to be somebody. F them all to HE double toothpicks. Don't give me no freaking sugar honey iced tea. I'm not taking it. I'm not drinking it. I'm not taking no tickets to go. Leave me be.
And on that note.
But because it's true, because it's like you know that saying, like keeping up to the Joneses. That's all you're doing. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
If you
would always be somebody.
Yeah.
That would be unsatisfied. You will never be able to
trying to get hips. I was trying to get a little butt. I was trying to do all this. I was trying to do the pectoralis. And then before you knew it, I was looking like the sister on Bruno, lifting up cows and stuff. Like Jesus Christ. Yeah, we don't talk about Bruno. We don't. We talk about Kiki. We don't talk about Bruno. No. Because we talk about Kiki.
I can't.
Mm-mm. I had somebody that I dated back in the day, and they weren't in the best of places. All I gotta say is that when I saw this person lower than low of low in their lifespan, to tell me that I was PHAT, as I pat their back, dust particles float off. Like literally. Dust particles are flying off this individual, and they had nerve enough. To tell me that I was PHAT with their address being clearance 13.
it's just the image that comes in my mind when you say the dust
But it
particles.
really happened. It really happened though. I went to one of my good friends' birthday and then they just, oh my God, girl, you got fat. I said, well, put PHAT, pretty hot and tempting. Oh, come here, give me a hug. And I like real slow, like, was coming. Like, I think I probably would have gotten like some kind of influenza of some kind of sorts in my nares. They were so dusty. They were so dusty that an N95 came out my nose when I sneezed.
That the image that's just nasty.
Mm-mm,
That's
mm-mm, mm-mm.
because
And bad enough they were
you
wearing
can't wash
brown
anything in your back
clothes.
or moisturize it.
There was no moisture. Like, I swear, like if they were to stay outside in the sun, that they would just turn to dust, like the Wayne's brothers, like that, like, as they go to their destination.
That's where their audacity went.
Mm-hmm. In the
They had the
wind.
audacity to judge you.
And see,
They
and
had
then
the
I could have went
audacity
to
to
the
judge
juggler.
you.
I could have went to the juggler and told them off. But for what? They're already low. They're already so low.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm probably making them feel some type of way because when they did have me, they didn't know what to do with me. You feel me?
Yeah.
Didn't know what to do. And now that I done came up, the only thing that you have on me is that I'm PHAT. Because I rolled up in a 2021 electrical car and you're praying for electric. I did though. I sure did.
You said I put up in the 2021 electric car while you were praying for. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. I
Just
thought I was
saying.
petty.
I can be petty when I want to. It's just sometimes I have to remember I can't be giving receipts. If the shoe fits and you bought the shoes at the K Squad productions, then hey, put the shoe on and slap and tap your feet. But I'm not gonna give you a name. Yeah, because the less I have to edit, the less I have to edit.
Lace it up and do a
Girl,
little
you
bit.
better get your Gorilla Glue.
I'm not. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Because they're gonna be like this.
Oh snap.
With eggplant emojis.
Oh my gosh. Not the eggplant emojis.
Yeah. Oh snap. Turn the TV off. Turn the TV off. All right. Well, I think it's time for me to go now. I think it's time for both of us to go.
I don't know how. I don't know what that was. That was a segment. We did
that. Was. I think there was not that much we had to edit out. We're good. We're good. Let me just